everyone, my name is Joyce McClure, and today I will be speaking upon Donald Trump and his racial influences through media. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen so you all can actually see my PowerPoint from start to finish. Okay, diving right into it, so I decided to do my research essay based on Donald Trump and how he has used media as his platform to make racial remarks. And I wanted to do research to get to the source of discovering if the racial remarks that he has made within media, have they caused influences on others and gave them the confidence to say the racist remarks that they have always wanted to say, but didn't necessarily have the assurance were okay to say. Okay, moving to the introduction. So basically, I just want to speak upon how President Trump has created a platform for racism and has given racists the confidence of making publicly unruly statements. Now, logically thinking, when you have a leader of a nation who has normalized using derogatory comments towards minorities and has made a mockery out of non-Caucasians, you think to yourself, are people going to follow? Well, realistically speaking, people have falling into that category. A lot of Trump supporters primarily agrees with the things that he says. And with a lot of the things that he does say being derogatory towards minorities and women in the LGBTQ community, it makes you wonder, well, is his behavior the reason for all of this? Has he caused these influences on others? So that's what I really want to dive into and discover research upon. So going to my first topic, I'm going to give my laptop a little time to load up here. Okay, so diving into my first topic, Donald Trump normalizing racism with anti-political correctness. Now, as many of us know, Donald Trump is known for making politically incorrect comments. A lot of things that he says, such as referring to African nations and Haiti as shithole countries, and saying that you should grab women by their private areas, and saying that Hispanics are thieves, and all the very derogatory statements he has made towards minorities. It makes you wonder, why hasn't he been chastised towards it? But what I came up with based on research from Nat and Schaefer is that it has become normalized. That it has been accepted, these backstage and overt racist comments, because they have repeatedly been said by the leader of our nation. Even when he was running within his campaign, he showed his true colors. A lot of things that he still continues to speak upon was things that he actually spoke upon even then. And when you think about how he got away with these statements and still became president, it really triggers your mind and makes you think about how these anti-political correctness statements have been normalized within our nation. And one of the things that I did take out of the research that really stood out to me is that the continued normalization of Trump's version of politically incorrect ideology and language, both on and offline, can lead to increased racial violence. The continued creation of neoliberal policy with racial disparate impacts. Now, when we really think about what's been going on in the news and all the things that we have been witnessing, there has been a lot of hate crimes, a lot of racial crimes that have been on an uproar. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but if you go look on the news, and a lot of videos that has went viral, many Caucasians have became confident within themselves to go up to minorities and say some very cruel things. One video in particular that comes to mind is a white man who approached a black woman and her daughter and asked them, have they taken a bath today before getting into the pool? And his defense was that so many diseases and bacteria is going around, he just wanted to make sure that the pool was safe. But what really caused controversy and bothered the woman is that he only approached them. They were the only African Americans at the pool, and he only came to them and asked them this question. Now, in the film, you can see how the man didn't think anything was wrong with what he said. He just wholeheartedly was thinking he was looking out for the benefit of himself and his others. And it really draws me back to my idea of, well, is it that the president of our country has made so many politically incorrect statements that it has caused people to think that it's normal and it's okay to ask minorities things related to this? And has it caused people who aren't minority to feel that people who are minority really carry diseases and are dirty and are really animalistic, how Trump has put out there for us to be? So moving on from that topic, I have dedicated a few slides to Donald Trump's discrimination, racial opinions, and influences towards Mexicans, Muslims, blacks, and diversity. Now, within my slides, as far as diversity goes, I didn't really speak heavily upon women and the LGBTQ community, but a lot of things that he has said towards Mexicans and Muslims and blacks ties in with that, because he discriminates amongst all of these groups. And what I came up with is that throughout Trump's campaign and candidacy as president, his crude feelings towards non-Caucasians and diversity has been highly publicized. Anytime he has made an unruly comment, such as accusing Mexicans of being thieves, accusing them of being dirty and coming over and stealing jobs from Americans, which when you really sit down and reflect on it, Mexicans are known for being hard workers. They really work in a lot of fields that's based on construction, landscaping, agriculture. And once I contemplated on the idea, I think to myself, well, those aren't really a lot of jobs that Americans typically want to work. So I started thinking to myself, is Trump really against these people because he feels like they're coming over and taking away? Or is it that he just hates the fact that they are minorities? A lot of Americans are just not wanting these jobs, and he is wanting to get rid of the people who actually are comfortable with working these jobs. As we all know, he's really big on putting up this wall, keeping Mexicans out of the nation, referring to them as bad hombres, and and stripping and breaking away families, putting children into cages, just causing so much chaos within these people's lives. And when you think about it, there's really not a lot of people who take this matter to the heart. Yes, you will see advocates and protesters wanting to fight against this, but it seems as if it's becoming more normalized than people actually willing to take a stand to stop all the things that's going on. And all the footage that has been captured is being put out there showing how tough Mexicans are having it right now. But yet, it's still an ongoing thing that Trump is pursuing. And with a lot of people not trying to help stop it, it makes me feel that, okay, since it's so much in the media, since people see it, it's really, no one is flinching to it. It has become so much more accepted than us trying to rebel against it. And speaking upon, hold on, I'm going to give my PowerPoint a little time to load up. Okay, and speaking upon how Muslims are treated entering into the United States, and then the Muslims who are actually in the United States, how they have been exploited based on their culture and their religion, because they don't necessarily identify with the typical white American. They are being shunned away and treated very poorly. And based on a article analysis we had to conduct in class and write a discussion upon, it had mentioned comments about how news stations such as the Al Jazeera and the Al Arabiya is padded with negative opinions and considered anti-American. But when you think about how the leader of our nation has put these people through so much torment and sadness and have disrespected their culture as a whole, can we really expect them to be in favor of Americans? Can we really expect them to to be in agreement with us and really be fair to us when the leader of our nation has said so many derogatory things towards them. And what's the sad thing about it is that a lot of us Americans don't think about it in that sense. We see it as that, oh, the Muslims hate us, they have such and such to say to us, so we're going to continue fighting fire with fire. When in actuality, if we take a step back and look at what could have been the cause of this, it all resorts back to our leader and the derogatory comments he has made through media. And I believe that since he keeps reiterating how he feels about these group of people and keep reiterating how he feels they are this or that, it's becoming normalized. And people are running with it. And they're just like, yeah, let's ban them from coming in when they are, which I feel that they deserve the same American dream that we all are entitled to. They deserve to have a better life for themselves and their families, and they shouldn't be judged on it based on their religion. Another topic I want to speak on based on how Donald Trump puts out his opinions and influences they have towards minority groups is the police brutality that is on an uproar within the black community. Every other day when you turn on the news, another little black boy or black woman or black man or little black girl is being shot and killed or treated very poorly by law enforcement. If we go back to when Donald Trump was actually running for president, he spoke heavily about how crime rates are out of hand and how police need to crack down. Now, as he became president, more and more police brutality is coming into play. And then it makes you really think about, well, is the reason why policemen are becoming confident with treating blacks this way is because the leader of our nation is okay with it? It really rolls an eyebrow for me how Donald Trump gets on social media and on the news and speak about topic after topic that he does not agree with. He speaks about how he don't care for this minority group and that minority group. But when people of that culture is being killed for no reason at all, he doesn't have anything to say. And I'm a firm believer that not saying anything at all is equivalent to just simply not caring. And when you think about Trump supporters who really take heed to the things that he say and really pay attention to the things that he brings to light, when they take a notice that he doesn't care about these black children and these black men and women who are being shot and killed, naturally they're not going to care about it. He's not vouching for it to stop. He's not stepping in and speaking to these policemen that's doing this or trying to tell them to seek therapy. He's not doing any of this, which naturally is going to make his supporters feel that, oh, well, this is okay. This is the new norm. And since we constantly see it on media, it's nothing to fret about. We're just going to consider it as being the modern way of things to be. And it causes us to think about, are we regressing as a nation? Are we going back to those days and times of society? And are the supporters of Trump, are they really, down for him? Do they really agree with his political views? Or is it that they just really are in agreement with him with how he's racist and they're secretly racist too? Which kind of goes into my next topic. Donald Trump supporters, racist or not. Now, I have sat down with a lot of colleagues and we have discussed this matter about, okay, if you voted for Trump, are you racist or are you not racist? In a lot of my colleagues' defense, they say that the reason why they voted for Trump over Hillary is that Hillary believes in abortion and Trump doesn't. Okay, with politicians, we all know they have crooked ways. So when it comes down to voting, it's just a matter of voting for the lesser evil. I myself in particular am very conservative with that. I don't believe in abortions. But when I think about how Donald Trump has called Mexican immigrants rapists and murderers, how he has affirmed physical attack on Black Lives Matter protesters, how he has disrespected Muslims and made all these rude comments towards women and the LGBTQ community, is him being against abortions really, really something to hold on to and something that you can use to overlook all the other things he has said. I'm not saying that Hillary was perfect, but she didn't say things that fell into the category of what Trump has said. And it makes you really sit and think about, well, if you support this man, and although he is against abortions, are you in agreement with the things that he say towards minorities? Because for you just to be all sold in with him with this one point, that just doesn't logically make sense. When you're choosing a leader who's going to run your country, who's going to be the one who implements laws and laws and decisions that affect us all, you have to agree with more than just one thing that comes with him. And it really do make you question the neighbor that you had next door that was so sweet to you, but has a "Make America Great Again" sign in their yard. Because I feel that if he's disrespecting minorities, and you know that I'm a minority, but yet you support him, well, you must in some sense agree with the things that he says about minorities. Now, we cannot fairly state that Trump supporters are all racist, but I do vouch for the assumptions that his racist beliefs of advertised through media align with many who are advocates of his leadership. And that's just coming from a realistic standpoint. Now, going into cable news and Twitter amplifying Donald Trump's racial remarks. Now, growing up, I didn't watch a lot of news, but my grandparents constantly did. As being part of the millennial generation, I was very much so heavy on social media. MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that. Now, if you know anything about our fellow president, we all know that he loves Twitter and he goes on Twitter rants where he vocalizes his irks and frustrations. And with him doing this, he gets into many brawls with celebrities, whether they're trolling him and them fighting against people who actually support the things that he has to say. Well, just like how I think of it as is when you're teaching a baby their ABCs, or when you're trying to teach a child to walk or potty train them, it's a matter of repetition. When you're constantly seeing these things that Trump says on social media and you're seeing it on news, that it's that repetition that's in your mind. And if you are a Trump supporter and you constantly hear him saying this and you constantly hear him saying that, it's a form of hypnosis. If you are riding for him, then the things that he says, you're going to become more comfortable with. You're going to vouch for him. You're going to be in agreement with them. And with social media putting him on such a higher platform, it's just putting it out there in people's face. And that actually, it has said that Trump's offensive, bullying, and abusive comments contributes to the high rate at which he is retweeted, which as of January 2016 was 2,201 times on average. Now, those of you who are not familiar with Twitter, when you retweet someone's tweet, that means basically you're agreeing to what they said, and you are copy and pasting their statements and putting it on your own account, which means that, well, you agree with what he said, you vouch for him. So when you have his statements being retweeted 2,201 times on average, and that was back in 2016, and we think about how popular his comments have become now in 2018, those retweets has quadrupled, which means there's more and more people who are amplifying and are in agreement with Donald Trump's racial remarks. Now, get into the nitty-gritty of it all. The conclusion that I have came up with based on research and my personal opinions is that the overall behavior of President Donald Trump and his universal influences through media has affected the nation as a whole. Whether you're for Trump or you're not for Trump, it really makes you question, where is our nation going to go? Are we going to go back to segregation days? Are we going to go back to minorities against non-minorities? what is going to happen to us. And what I really want to tie it in to is that how Donald Trump's statements are actually affecting minorities' minds now. We have some minorities who are kind of jumping on the bandwagon. And what I really want to say is the latest controversy of Kanye West, slavery was a choice statement. Now, I being a once Kanye West fan, I was extremely hurt by him saying this. But it made me really want to analyze and break down. And although there hasn't been an academic article or research based on this topic, since it is so new, like it literally just happened last month, I took it upon myself to kind of dig deep into it. And I just feel that Donald Trump's acceptance is causing some minorities to feel if you can't beat them, then join them. And Kanye West made the decision to meet with Donald Trump. He actually considers him to be a friend. And it makes me feel that, is this causing a lot of mental issues to where that since his portrayal of non-Caucasian people being subhuman, being so heavily portrayed and promoted, is it really causing people of color to even question their own heritage? It's really just mind-blowing. And the reason why I chose this topic is to really reiterate how media as a whole causes so much influence on us as a nation. And although we may think that it doesn't, it really does when it's something that you're constantly looking at. And when you have your leader of the nation heavily invested into media and they're always making racial and derogatory comments toward minorities, is it going to get to a point to where his remarks influence people as a whole to where we have racism within ourselves and racism against each other? America was built upon bringing different cultures together and sharing customs and uniting people. Are we resorting away from that based on normalizing the things Donald Trump is saying? Who knows? But we shall find out as life continues to go on. And that's all I have to share with you all today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I have all of my academic article resources here for you guys. So if you would like to take the time to read these articles as well, I highly suggest it because they are quite interesting. And that's all I have for you all today. Thank you.